It's super pretty. I'm already 40 pages in. The only book that I refilled this. Welcome to the second part of the vlog where I struggle to finish or complete my Goodreads challenge for 2022. Yay! Why is it so gloomy today? In the first vlog, I attempted to finish at least 2 books, but I finished only one, which is The Enchanted Sonata, which I loved. One of the books that I loved the most that I read in 2022, but I can talk about it without spoiling it. Maybe if I have a video of the books that I really enjoyed or the best books for 2022, tingnan natin if we can also include that. Anyways, we stopped the vlog in the middle of The Hobbit, which I have finished last night. The green tabs or the yellow tabs, those are the quotes that I loved. The favorite parts are marked blue, and the orange parts are for the characters, or how they met the character, how they describe the character. Although this is tagged as a children's book, it's kind of a drag for a 30-year-old reader like me, unless if you have or if you are a fan of adventures, fantasy. Tolkien is, if I may say, is a must read. 1 star less to perfection, because as I mentioned, it's kind of a drag for me. I read this in, I think, more or less a week. Nahuhulog siya, bes. Anyways, I finished this. I'm glad I'm down to 1 book this year. At least 1 book. So I picked up the tiniest book in my shelf that I haven't read yet. I have small books here, but the tiniest na hindi ko pa nababasa is Memories of My Melancholy Horse by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. As you know, or if you've been here for a while already, I've been trying to explore the works of Gabriel Garcia Marquez. The first book that I read of him is 100 Years of Solitude, which I love. This is one of the books that I will recommend for the rest of my life. And this one is the 3rd book, I guess, that I will be reading of him. And so far, okay lang. The writing style is still super good. This was written, I guess, 2004. This is also highly or commonly compared to Lolita, which I DNF this year. I wasn't able to finish that book. I wasn't able to move on. This one is written in the perspective of the guy, the older party, which is a 90-year-old bachelor who decides to give himself a wild night of love with a virgin. And girl, the first sentence pa lang medyo cringy na. The year I turned 90, I wanted to give myself the gift of a night of wild love with an adolescent virgin. Still cringy. But this is the tiniest book that I know I can finish before New Year's Eve. Let's give this a go. Plus, also, I would like to explore nga the works of Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So, ito na yung next sa aking books, because I haven't secured yet my other copies of other works from the author. And also, if I could finish that before New Year's Eve, I would also like to restart or reread the first book of one of my favorite book series, Harry Potter. So yes, I am picking up Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It's been a while since I last read this, but this series or this copies, itong I got from Shopee. I don't think they're authentic kasi it's not embossed. But these are the cutest editions so far. May authentic ones are downstairs. Yung mga classic editions pa matataba. But I'll give this a go. I'm okay siguro. At least I can annotate. I can play with the pages of these books. So, let's start reading na Gabriel Garcia Marquez and aim for the good ones. Although this is good also. The writing style is perfect. I'm still 10 pages in, but I see na how Gabriel Garcia works, and alam mo yun na lang yung magiging motivation ko dito. So that's that. Those are the books that we will be reading, and I'll catch up with you later.
It's the end of the year. Everywhere on TV, couples and Christmas trees, gift wrapping and cheer. Just the worst time to be without someone special. In all the movies there, kissing in the snow, holding hands and mittens, baking together at home. Now let the movie.
When I was 20, I began to keep a record listing name, age, place, and a brief notation on the circumstances and style of lovemaking. I was ignorant of the arts of seduction and had always chosen my brides for a night at random, more for their price than their charms, and we had made love without love, half-dressed most of the time, and always in the dark, so we could imagine ourselves as better than we are. I found Damiana washing the floor on all fours in the living room, and the youthfulness of her thighs at her age revived in me a tremor from another time. She must have sensed it because she covered herself with her skirt. I could not resist the temptation to ask, "Tell me something, Damiana. What do you recall?" What do you recall? I wasn't recalling anything, she said, but your question makes me remember.
Dream of December nights, kissing under bright lights, red bow in my hair, sleigh bells in the air. The only thing I'm missing is you, darling. You, yeah, you. The only thing I'm missing is you, darling. You, yeah, you. The only thing I'm missing is you. Send a red as letters. He will know that my wish ever since I remember. It's been a mistletoe kiss. I'll keep on writing letters. I'll keep on dreaming.
Just checking in to say that I finally finished my Goodreads challenge for 2022. I completed 75 books, which is not a lot if you compare to other booktubers or other readers. But that was the second biggest achievement that I did for 2022. And my third achievement is finishing it or completing it with Memories of My Melancholy Wars, which I thought I won't appreciate, I won't love, I won't enjoy. But apparently, this is a 5-star read. So when I finished this, I realized I was just thinking too much. I was overthinking the age of our main character. But at the end of the book, I couldn't believe that I was shipping for a 91-year-old man and a 15-year-old girl, and their love for each other. I'm not the biggest fan of romance novels or romance stories, but this one is super good. It's just a shame though that the perspective of the girl character of our 15-year-old girl was not explored, but the love was reciprocated by mentioning of what she says to other people or how she acted upon it. And this is just so good. I'm serious, she concluded, speaking from the heart. Don't let yourself die without knowing the wonder of fucking with love. And what made this even more a better read was the exploration or the commentary on how an elder person think about or look about himself. From then on, I began to measure my life not by years but by decades. The decade of my 50s had been decisive because I became aware that almost everybody was younger than I. The decade of my 60s was the most intense because of the suspicion that I no longer had the time to make mistakes. My 70s were frightening because of a certain possibility that the decade might be the last. Still, when I woke alive on the first morning of my 90s in the happy bed of Delgadina, I was transfixed by the agreeable idea that life was not something that passes by like Heraclitus's ever-changing river, but a unique opportunity to turn over on the grill and keep broiling on the other side for another 90 years. It is so good that I think this is the best love story that I read so far in my life. Not just the romantic love story, but the love story with himself or the character self. So good. So good. Anyways, I was just so consumed by this book. I needed to go back to my comfort zone and keep my mind busy with other things. So I picked up And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I'm reading it on my Kindle and I love this. What captured me the most here was the first part of the book where they shared a short poem about 10 soldiers. 10 little soldier boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little soldier boys sat up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8. 8 little soldier boys traveling in Devon. One said he'd stay there, and then there were 7. 7 little soldier boys chopping up sticks. One chopped himself in halves, and then there were 6. 6 little soldier boys playing with a hive. A bumblebee stung one, and then there were 5. 5 little soldier boys going in for law. One got in chancery, and then there were 4. 4 little soldier boys going out to sea. A red herring swallowed one, and then there were 3. 3 little soldier boys walking in the zoo. A big bear hugged one, and then there were 2. 2 little soldier boys sitting in the sun. One got frizzled up, and then there was 1. 1 little soldier boy left all alone. He went and hanged himself, and then there were none. And this is literally what happens to these 10 people. I saw it on the trailer of the series that they did somewhere sometime in 2005, I guess. And it's so interesting. I started this last night and now I am 17%. To be honest, at the first few chapters I was kind of lost because we have 10 characters here, and Agatha Christie tried to explore each character and introduce them to the readers, but I was kind of lost. I don't know who is who. I was tempted to get a paper and pen and map them out and solve it like other readers would do, but I was too lazy last night to get up and get this paper and pen. So I just thought, makikilala ko rin sila the next chapters. I have one friend who loves this. She's obsessed with this. This is her favorite Agatha Christie books, one of her favorite mystery thriller books, and let's see if we can agree. But I also have picked, of course, as I mentioned, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I am a few pages in. I just started this before I filmed this, so I was very much inside their world na. So before I forget how I thought about Gabriel Garcia Marquez, mag-film muna tayo and share to you what I thought about this book and share also that I finished my Goodreads challenge. I also have filmed yesterday a list of short book recs in case you still have a few more books in your challenges or in your target for this year before the year ends. Anyways, those are the books that I recently picked up. I'm done with this and I am reading 2 books now.
I'll give you ukulele lessons Monday mornings if you're free. We can go to wherever we like, there's so much out there to see.